Hello everybody, I am a researcher from BSAMT33 and I am glad to present you this one-to-one scale of a Boeing 777-300ER from our very own Philippine Airlines in Minecraft. For today's video, we'll be discussing the basic parts of an aircraft, specifically in large commercial ones like these, as it has a wide variety of features. So, without further ado, let's hop in. At the tip or the head of the aircraft is the cockpit. The cockpit is the section where the pilot and the co-pilot manage the aircraft. The two main functions of the cockpit are to provide the pilot with a good angle and to make all control mechanisms accessible to them. Airplanes are also designed based on the same principle of any vehicle. Usually found at the middle of an aircraft is the fuselage. Of all the structural elements of an aircraft, the fuselage is one of the most essential. The fuselage is the body of an aircraft. Its primary structure, it is the envelope that houses the cockpit, the space for carrying passengers for the cargo hold. It is also the framework to which other fundamental parts are attached, such as the wings, tail empennage, or landing gear. Also found in the middle of an aircraft, attached to the fuselage, is the wings. An aircraft wings are critical to flight through the production of lift, but they have many parts of the wing to control this lift, amount, and direction. We will also discuss later the different flight controls of an aircraft. Found in the end or at the tail of an aircraft is called the empennage. An aircraft's tail or empennage is mainly used for stability, as well as creating lift in combination with the wings. It's comprised of several parts. First of all is the horizontal stabilizer. The horizontal stabilizer keeps the airplane's nose from moving up and down. The hinge part of the horizontal stabilizer is the elevator. We'll come back later for the flight controls. Second part is the vertical stabilizer and the rudder. The vertical stabilizer allows the airplane to weather vane into relative wind. This helps prevent the side-to-side motion of the aircraft's nose or yaw. The rudder, which is the primary flight control, we'll also come back to that later. Usually found attached to the wings of the front of an aircraft is the engine. The engine or power plant of an aircraft creates thrust needed for the plane to fly. Generally speaking, there are two types of aircraft engines: reciprocating and turbine. Reciprocating engines, air flows into the engine, is compressed and mixed with fuel, and an electric spark combust, with exhaust gases leaving the back of an engine through the manifold. The engine spins the propeller, which then creates thrust to move the plane forward. Alternatively, with the turbine engine, the action of compressing air, mixing with fuel, ignition, and exhaust are similar but occur in line. In this case, the power is generated by the air being exhausted from the engine. In this Boeing 777-300ER, this aircraft uses a turbine engine. Found at the belly of the aircraft is the landing gear. The purpose of the landing gear in an aircraft is to provide suspension system during a taxi, takeoff, and landing. It is designed to absorb and dissipate the kinetic energy of landing impact, therefore reducing the impact loads transmitted to the airframe. Now that we have discussed the basic parts of an aircraft, I will also teach you the aircraft flight controls. Aircraft flight controls are the means by which a pilot controls the direction and attitude of an aircraft in flight. First, we will talk about the primary flight controls. The primary controls are the ailerons, elevator, and the rudder, which provide the aerodynamic force to make the aircraft follow a desired flight path. Ailerons. Ailerons control roll about the longitudinal axis. The ailerons are attached to the outboard of the trailing edge of each wing and move in opposite direction from each other. Ailerons are connected by cables, belt cranks, pulleys, and or tubes by a control stick or a yoke. Found at the tail of an aircraft, the empennage, especially in the vertical stabilizer, is the rudder. The rudder. The increase in camber of the wing results in an increase in lift, but this in turn also causes an increase in drag. This added drag causes the wings to slow down slightly, resulting in rotation, referred to as a yaw, around the vertical axis. To overcome this yaw, rudder input is required while entering and exiting a turn to minimize the amount of adverse yaw produced during a turn. The movement a rudder makes is for the aircraft to go here or here, left or right. Simple as that. Also found in the empennage, in the horizontal stabilizer, is the elevator. The elevator. When the pilot moves the controls forward, the elevator surface is deflected downwards. This increases the camber of the horizontal stabilizer, resulting in an increase in lift. The additional lift on the tail surface causes rotation around the lateral axis of the aircraft and results in a nose-down change in an aircraft attitude. The opposite occurs with an aft movement of the flight deck controls. For the elevator, the movement of an aircraft goes this and this, up and down. When the elevator deflects downwards, the aircraft goes up. When the elevator is deflected upwards, the aircraft goes down. The secondary flight controls. Secondary flight controls are used in conjunction with primary flight controls to refine aircraft manipulations further. Additionally, other flight controls, not necessarily controlled by the pilots but serve to produce an aerodynamic effect in flight. Other flight controls called the secondary flight controls are called the flaps, which is here, located in here. The slats, which is here, it increases drag in the airplane, while the flaps increases lift in an airplane or drag, depending on the scenario, and also the slats, which increases the camber of the leading edge of the aircraft, of the wing. So here we're going to the back. Um, some aircrafts have like a trim tab in here, in like in the middle of the rudder or the elevator or even the ailerons. And what it does is it smoothens the flight of the aircraft. So that's all. Thank you. Um, so right now we're having a tour inside the Boeing 777-300ER of the Philippine Airlines. Some stuff there. So here is the economy class, and as you can see, it has seats, and it also has the luggage section. And if we move further, this is where the crew goes, the flight attendants and all the other crew, board crew. And if we move further, this is the first class area of the Philippine Airlines. So this is also the luggage. Oh yeah, this is the lavatory. Yeah. As we move further, we'll find the entrance to the cockpit. So if you enter here, close that door, go through this trap door, close that one. This is the cockpit of the aircraft.